Hi everyone, hi. I just want to make this quickly, the introduction part, because I've already recorded their predictions. So welcome to Synastry Expert. My name is Mita, and do subscribe to stay informed of the new stuff that I release. I do get into deep stuff here. I don't usually hold back, but I also deliver in a way that could be okay and positive for you. But in terms of information, I'm very technical, very data based, so most of the time I am talking from the data point of view. And do book your reading on my website. And of course, pertaining to predictions, I specialize in that. Whatever question you want to know about your life, when it comes to predictions, I give you that. And when it comes to synastry, which I specialize in, is my speciality. All the options are available, whether you are single, married, looking for marriage, wanting to divorce, because I also specialize in the separation part, mediation part. When it comes to mediation and separation and divorce, I also do add a bit of my background from because I'm a lawyer. When it comes to life outside of astrology, so I also add that part. But this is my astrology channel, and I help you because I study the stars literally every day. I make predictions based on where the stars are, what they say. And for more about my work and what I've done and all the predictions that have come true, you can check out my shorts or my post. And the time right now is actually 7:30. That is 7:30 in the morning. And the date, of course, it is the 30th of November 2025. So let's start with the Aries sign. For the Aries sign, the Aries zodiac sign, we must remember that for you there has been a cluster of planets in your 8th house, because this is where your Scorpio sign is. You have just welcomed Venus. Right now it is conjunct with Lilith, Sun, Mars in your 8th house. You do have also a busy 12th house, meaning that all your water houses or water signs have been your main focus, or are your main focus, because this is where a lot of planets are requiring your attention right now. Your Pisces sign has had Chiron, Neptune, Saturn all together. And remember, when it comes to Neptune, Saturn and Chiron, they are long-term moving, like they move slowly, Neptune being the most slowest out of all of them. Now, when it comes to your 4th house, which is also your Cancer sign, you also have Jupiter, which is retrograde, by the way, going towards the Gemini sign. It will soon, in a couple of days time, be entering directly the Gemini sign, but for now it's still retrograde in the Cancer sign, right? So in your 5th house, you do have, of course, that Ketu, which continues to be retrograde, opposite the Rahu in your 11th house of friendships and gains. Now, I must take your attention to that 7th house of yours, because here in Libra you have Mercury. Mercury is for you is an agitation point, or a planet that causes some agitation. And not that it is bad for you, it is not. It is just making you be required to put extra effort into your planning, your organization, how you convey your messages, how you receive messages, communication, and which are the things that you would normally want to have control over, but because you're dealing with other people, 7th house Libra, you are required to even be more lenient, more patient, which is not necessarily one of the greatest strengths from your part. So this point has been some agitation, and which would have also made you notice some of the mannerisms from your partner that agitate you, even if they're not agitation, like even if they give you an advice which is highly good and which would have been good at all times, but for some reason, some things would irritate you, agitate you, their requests, their demands, the way they communicate would be some sort of an inconvenience to you, even though in perspective it is actually quite good and beneficial for you. Now, from the 1st until the 6th, because this is my focus period for these predictions, we will be having a lot of movements in terms of moon per usual. And so from what I do see is that from the 2nd of December, from the 2nd of December, so the 2nd of December, the 3rd of December, in these 2 days you need to continue to endure. All right, these are good days for endurance, being able to give more strength, more muscle towards handling the obstacles and the hardships that you may be facing right now. And in fact, those who go to the gym could be in a good position to strengthen their bodies right now. However, be mindful of your shoulders as well as your arms and your wrists. These are also the points that you could maybe strengthen more, because when we have more troubles, we literally say that we have a load on our shoulders. So for you, because you are a physical ascendant, like literally Aries is about the physique, it also means that you could get some work done on your shoulders, particularly your right shoulder, your wrists, your arms, make them strong, and obviously be careful when you work so that these parts are not agitated as well. What is visible here is that you are able and capable, more than capable, to handle great responsibility, because I do see from your chart that you are having quite some responsibilities right now. And I also do see that you are given the capacity right now to help other people or to rescue other people as well. So this is quite highly indicated, the ability to protect, and it could also be in a physical form or in a moral form, whereby maybe there's a moral crisis, you become that savior that comes, or the rescuer. And so very strengthened to be responsive in high critical points or activities, even like in high pressured environments whereby there's an emergency, there's a sudden thing, you become that one who is quick to respond, quick to help, quick to jump in. If somebody is drowning, quick to jump in and help. You have that strength. You are strengthened in this time period. However, as I said, just be mindful of your own physical body, not to have injuries or some strains. When you're working, don't overwork yourself, all right? And I also do see that there could be some tendencies, obviously because of that agitation from Mercury, that I asked for you to give attention to. Because of that Mercury, there could be some harshness that comes out of you, because you're agitated by other people, how they act, what they say, and you could be responsive in a heavy manner or harsh manner, like giving some blows. It could also be physical if you're that way, or it could also be in communication, because Mercury is all communication. So just be mindful of those things and be cautious not to have burnout from other people's problems, because as I said, you are one of those chosen for this week to be able to rescue other people, to protect other people. So just make sure you don't strain yourself in overworking, or you don't get a burnout in all of these things that is happening. So from the 3rd until the 4th of December, I also do see at this point that there could be some seriousness now that comes in. So it could be maybe an activity that abruptly comes into an end, or maybe if you were working, you are finalizing a project here. I also do see that for some of people who are waiting for judgments, maybe you've been waiting to hear about an interview decision, a judgment from the court, all of these things today. These 2 days, the 3rd and the 4th, become highly critically for you to receive, those conclusions. And I do want to say, that most of the time for many people, because I remember your chart at the end of the day decides the overall outcome. But then for most people today, the 3rd and the 4th, the results may not be as, nice as you would like. So just be cautious that you don't fall into sadness, because of what you hear, because of the communication you receive today, because I do see, that, there could be some serious tone happening here. So what I also advise is to just tap into your consciousness, because your consciousness is going to be highly heightened, because remember, you have that cluster happening in your 12th house of subconscious. So you can think about serious intellectual related things right now, utilizing that Mercury opposite you right now. I also do see that you could also contact a trusted advisor right now, or you become the trusted advisor using your own experiences. However, out of all of these things, I do see that you continue to be able to handle heavy matters or heavy news. Yes, a bit of agitation, a bit of sadness, but you are strengthened. You have the strength to go through that rebirth, that death and rebirth. I also do see that you may have a tendency on these days, 3rd and the 4th, to want to isolate yourself. So just be mindful of that right now. I do see that for the 3rd and the 4th, there is someone, so it could be a person or it could be a place within your household, or it could be a direction, in your vicinity. So if you're driving, but then in your south direction, or a person coming from the south direction. So maybe you are in your country or in your city, then you meet a stranger who's coming from the southern city, southern region, southern country. This person here, or this thing that you find, it could also be in your household, as I said. So looking in your south direction in your house, that's also possible. There could be something that you find right now which could give you some sort of structure. It could also give you some or activate that thinking towards a decision right now that you have to take. So it's really bringing you into a grounding moment right now, right? Because I do see that most of you could also be feeling like you want to isolate yourselves, you want to be alone, through all these crises that are coming up. So just be mindful of that. I also do see that you need to be careful of your speech today, the 3rd and the 4th, because it could also have some consequences, or the judgment that you received today, it would have been resulting from something that you said spokenly, like words that you had said to somebody, or answers that you had given before, and that is being judged today. So just be mindful of that. Also, just going back to the 1st until the 2nd, sorry, the 1st until the 2nd, I had not talked about it, I skipped it. So we would be having that moon in Pisces on this day. So the moon is going to be conjunct Chiron, Neptune and Saturn. So obviously having the moon in the 12th house for you could be indicating a heightened a level of intuition, heightened level of visions, whereby your thoughts are going through some either spirituality, or the need to escape, the need to isolate, or be in depression, all of these things. So just be mindful of this. However, I do see that because Saturn is now stabilizing, so there could also be a need for you to put or to place all your thoughts into practicality, like now think in a way that is going to be fruitful for you, in a practical way, in a way that people can see your results and your plans materializing. So that's that. Sorry, my voice, it's going away. And I do see that on the 4th until the 5th, when it comes to the 4th until the 5th of this month, December, right now, you could be in a very beautiful place to continue to explore your intuition, continue to explore your sensibility or your sensitivity when it comes to psychology, psychic, spiritual endeavors. Very heightened right now. I also do see that at this time, and the compassion that you have could be the cause of attracting other people. So people could just be attracted to you because you're compassionate, you're showing that compassion. They can see you're able to handle stuff right now. And for those who do work with dangerous things like alcohol, poisons, chemicals, for those people, they can have the strength to handle them now. Also in a very logical manner, and safe manner right now, right? I do see that. However, we need at this day, like on these days, the 4th and the 5th, to just be mindful that, you know, when people are working with these dangerous chemicals or dangerous weapons or whatever, there is caution that is placed right now. All right, so I do see that. I also do see that there could be some entanglement right now that is requiring your involvement. So just be mindful of that, because it could result into trouble. So as you have been helping people, you know, from the 2nd until 3rd, on the 4th and the 5th, maybe it's time to not be so much involved in other people's businesses right now, because as I said, you know, being entangled with other people's situations right now is actually not so healthy for you. And in fact, on this day, just be mindful that there is a high chance of meeting people that are unhealthy for you, or maybe you get in touch with somebody that is unhealthy for you. So if that, you know, happens and you have the urge to meet with somebody, you know, call an old ex, you just know that it is not healthy for you. I also do see that, as I said, be mindful today, 4th and the 5th, of taking too much burdens, because it's not going to work out well. You had the strength between the 2nd and the 3rd to do that, but these days you need to rest, because I also do see that sacrificing yourself too much could actually be one of your weakest points for these days. Okay, so just be mindful of that. Also, I do see that there is a high chance of a secret being revealed right now. So it could also be a secret regarding your intimacy. So if it's not revealed, it could be just, you know, making some argument, you know, stuff like that, but you're just be mindful of that. Or maybe if you are a person who gives consultation advices, who heals other people, maybe now there's a patient or a client who's complaining, saying, oh, you didn't give me good advice, yara, right? So that is highly possible right now. And also, because it's winter in you know, in the western part of the world, just make sure you are warm, you stay warm, because high infections today, the 4th and the 5th, are possible. So yeah, just be mindful, you stay healthy, drink water, have lots of water and all of those things right now. I do see that astrologically, of course, because everything is based on astrology. So also be mindful of, you know, your presence around sick people, because you have a high tendency right now, the 4th and the 5th, to absorb that illness yourself. But of course, if it's family members that you have to take care of, you know, there's nothing you can do. Just make sure you also take care of yourself. And now also emphasizing on the moon in movement, I do see that it's from the 2nd to the 4th, it's going to move and to the Aries sign, so it's going to be on your body. So that moon here could make you want, as I said, to continue to help other people, but be mindful that you also take care of yourself, particularly the 4th and the 5th, right? So also it will also make you you know, again, you know, just going exactly to what I said, exactly to the prediction, that because it's going to be opposite that Mercury, you know, there could be some blame that comes out. You know, somebody, maybe a client, or, you know, they say, oh, you gave me this advice, it didn't work, look what you've done, you know, some scandal like that. Just is exactly like I just predicted right now. The moon is confirming that with that placement with the Mercury. I also do see that because the moon is going to be moving from the 4th until the 6th into your 2nd house, here you're going to need to obviously take care of yourself by eating properly. As I said, it has high tendencies of being sick, falling sick, and all of those things. So be mindful of what you eat. Don't overeat, because there could be plenty of food or plenty of things to enjoy. So just take care of your diet. Again, going back to the prediction is just confirming what I just said through the prediction, that moon placement here, because it's gonna be in exaltation, wanting to eat everything, wanting to talk wanting to be tended to, or also be mindful of headaches, by the way, between the 4th and the 5th. Again, just make sure you also mind, if you feel a headache, you have a headache, just make sure you take care of yourself. I also do see that the moon is going to then move to Gemini from the 6th, right? Because I'm just going to end on the 6th, and then we're going to continue later on, with the other week. I also see this is going to move to Gemini. So when it does move to Gemini from the 6th, at this point here, your communication, your speech is going to be softened. However, it can also be in a way that people find some faults regarding to it, some faults at this time. So just be mindful of that. But you could have nice talks right now. What's the word? Like smooth talks, diplomatic talks. However, I see some things could be exaggerated, so by you, your friends, your partners, your spouse as well. So there could be some exaggerations as well in communication and what is being said. So by exaggeration, that also includes the possibilities of lies. So just be mindful of those things. And of course, if you want to have a helpful, productive communication, this is highly also possible right now. Just minimize their emotions, because that part could be the agitation point I see. So now, thank you, Aries. Hello, Taurus. Hi. So for the Taurus ascendant, what I do see is that it has been a hectic 2 weeks or 3 weeks so far. You have been switching off fires or trying to calm situations, either for yourself or with the people around you. So that has been something that you've been facing for some days now. So what I do see happening from the 1st until the 2nd is that at this time there could be beautiful things that are said about you. And if you have been waiting to hear some good news, maybe in terms of promotion, in terms of results, those things could be delivered to you right now between the 1st and the 2nd. I do see that. I do see some sort of achievement being awarded to you at this time. However, you must also make sure that you continue to be the healer of your people, yourself, or your friends, your spouse. I also do see that if you've been trying to gain some access, maybe in another country, in another region, movement, so maybe that could be possible right now. You could hear some news that you can move to another place, or if you've been in another place, there's something positive that is coming now for you having moved places. So I do see that it's also a great day between the 1st and the 2nd to look at your money, your wealth avenues, and how to increase that, because today you are given that ingredient of being able to look at this part. Now, I do see though that you need to be careful of having doing too much, just indulging in a lot of stuff, and maybe with some sort of carelessness whereby you party too much with other people, or you try to socialize too much, or you try to give your energy too much to other people. So I do see some sort of moral questioning, whereby people are like, oh, I can't believe you've done this, or I can't believe you could do this, or I can't believe you would do this, those type of things being said, or maybe somebody says, oh, you're so careless, stuff like that, right? So some trying to make some scandal out of maybe your actions, or maybe out of your beauty, maybe out of even your relationship, or maybe the way you pleasure yourself, like you do things to pleasure yourself. So there could be some sort of somebody saying something, maybe, oh my gosh, you party too much, or you overdress, you underdress, something relating to those lines, somebody trying to make a scandal, right? I also do see that you need to be cautious right now, because you could be kind, or you could assume somebody is kind right now, and then you get misled by them, right? So I do see that maybe also you get enticed through your desires, so whereby people use your desires to make you do something that you wouldn't normally do, and something that could lead to a downfall, or maybe a mishap, or just a misunderstanding. So just be careful of those things. So I do see that. Also having, so this is going to be in conjunct with the moon, or parallel to the moon, being in conjunct with Neptune, Saturn, and Chiron in your 11th house of friendships. So at this time, also, sometimes you may not be able to see people's intentions, about what they want to do. And I do see that you could also have high chances now of making lots of money, with, as I said before, which is confirmed through that moon transiting your 11th house right now. So do take advantage of that. Then I do see that also between the 1st and the 2nd, there could also be some hidden motives, or people who are not necessarily wishing you the best of intentions. So that could be within your friendship circles, other people as well. And so just be mindful of that. High possibilities of fights and strifes with your spouse or with your loved ones, due to the Mars there with that Sun in your 7th house, because it is conjunct with Venus and Lilith right now, making some retaliation, some sort of hidden hostility, right? So just be mindful of that. However, I do see that you are empowered to survive through the most extreme and hostile environments right now that could be presented to you through that Mars in that 7th house. So do have courage, to continue to have resilience, because you will have the strength within you to come up in a resilient manner. I also do see that you are able to break through the dark things, or dark activities, dark challenges, dark periods, dangerous periods. You are empowered that through your Venus giving positivity and support to your ascendant, which is Taurus, because the Venus is the lord of your ascendant. So you are getting that courage from that Venus there. Make use of that. I do see though that because of that backstabbing and hidden danger from other people, enemies, also it could also be through spouse at this time, or the spouse himself or herself gets into dangerous situations. So he must or she must take caution you as well, because all again of that Mars here in this 7th house, bringing in conflicts. And so what else do I see? I also do see that in throughout the week, like throughout this period between the 1st until the 6th, there could be a lot of productivity coming towards you, like you're empowered to be productive right now. Just be careful of some small wounds here and there. Maybe when you're cutting some vegetables, just make sure you don't cut yourself or you don't wound yourself or whatever, stuff like that. And there could be some sudden hot-tempered nature, so be mindful of that. And also burning, so if you're cooking, you don't burn yourself or stuff like that. And of course minor injuries on the limbs, so just be careful of that, right? So everything must be done cautiously and with some patience, because right now you are pressured by both the Uranus on your ascendant and the Mars in your 7th house to do things rashly without thinking things through. So a high impulse now, very brave in face of danger, very bold, very quick to act, very heroic. But just make sure that with all that impulse, you don't get into quarrels or situations that are hard to get out of, right? So I do see also that between that 1st and the 2nd, you're empowered again to not only be resilient but also to think tactically, like to have decisions and fast, because as I said that Uranus and Mars, they are enforcing you to think impulsively, but you can also be able to make fast tactical things. So particularly for those who are in high pace environments, maybe in your work or in your job or in your daily life, right now that fighter spirit within you is empowered. So make use of it so that it doesn't make use of you. So going forward to the 2nd and until the 3rd, because the moon will also be moving on towards your 12th house into the Aries sign right now. The 12th house is about your conscious mind, your dreams, the bedroom life, and so there could be some movement happening in the bedroom when it comes to your love life as well. However, these could also be bringing up some emotional wounds, emotional wounding within the relationship. So maybe if you need to sort out things, or you're not satisfied with each other in the bedroom, this could be brought up now more than before. So be mindful of that. And things that have been hurting you in the back of your mind, they could also be brought up right now. I do see that between the 2nd and the 3rd of December 2025, right now, this is a time whereby you need a whole lot of decipherment. Is that the word? Decipherment, where you decipher what is right and what is wrong, because also using that moon in your subconscious mind. So you need to take caution, be very cautious right now. And of course, as I said, everything must be done with patience throughout this whole week. Learn to be patient, force yourself into thinking things through, even though you are empowered to be quick and swift and respond quickly, but to make sure that it doesn't backfire, just make sure you look over things 2 times, 3 times. Even what you're gonna say, think about it through. I also do see that between the second and the third, there could be some brilliant ideas that come up right now because of that moon in your subconscious, your vision board. So this is giving you some brilliant strategic ideas, and also you could also be wanting to lead in terms of crisis, in terms of conflicts. I mean, right now with Venus in your 7th house, you are also highly heightened to lead in your diplomatic things, like having contracts, negotiations, and that's a given. But because of that Mars, as I said, you might be wanting to not hesitate and just signing, agreeing as quick as possible. Everything is done as quick as possible. So be mindful just of that part. And continuing to be mindful of people who might cheat against you, or things that might cheat or might place you at a disadvantage, or you cheating other people. Because also remember, whatever you experience, it is also experienced by other people as well, because the 7th house with that Mars is still your chart. So be mindful of not cheating other people, also not being violent against other people as well, as much as you wouldn't want it to be done to you. And sudden things happening, like sudden attacks, all of these things, just be mindful of those things, right? Because that Mars, again, it is empowered as well in that Scorpio sign in your 7th house. So what else I do see is that between that 2nd and the 3rd, there could be some sort of continuation of maybe people accusing you, or just wanting to place a bad name towards you, a bad image towards you, or maybe something you have done is judged in a way that is like not okay for you, not giving you the brightest light, so there could be those type of things happening, or coming up right now. Maybe people bringing up things you've done in the past, whether intentionally or unintentionally. So they could be bringing up those things right now between the 2nd and the 3rd. I do see that from the 3rd until the 4th, maybe a bit of a headache, so just be careful about that. Take caution, not too much stress, and I also do see at this time, you could be continue to have that ability to be strategic, to think strategically, the ability to survive all these problems that have been thrown at your way. So you continue to have that strength and that just strong instinct of what to do. Again, just caution, take things easy, be patient, think things through. Be careful about your limbs, about your body when you handle material. Be careful, take all precautions. That is advised. I also do see that between the 4th and the 5th, because remember the moon would have moved on into your ascendant at this time, so it's gonna be there from the 4th until the 6th. So between the 4th and the 5th, at this time, you will continue to be able to face lots of your problems, lots of darkness, and without panic. You're gonna be calm, you're gonna stay calm, you're gonna stay elevated in your mind. You are going to be able to face on like face danger right now. I do see some elements of revenge, either coming from your spouse or other people, or you towards them at this time, because maybe there is a secret that is spoken or said, or some sort of deceit, like some sort of manipulation. I do see that right now. So maybe you, the one who's plotting, some sort of secret mission, and they get to sense that, or vice versa. So just be careful about that. And of course, if you feel some sort of a headache, do drink some water at this time, some liquids. Take a lot of liquids right now. And I do see that you would also be at this time maybe interested to heal yourself or to heal somebody, or interested towards those type of things. If it's not healing, then some sort of artistic endeavors right now. It could also be about cooking, food related, going out, having some nice foods right now. I do see that. I also you see that you'll be able to be in the mood to cooperate with other people, lots of partnerships and teamwork, some just not harmonious, but like some need to gravitate towards people right now. So this is highly heightened. I also do see that you continue to have some tact and diplomacy as well during these days. However, be careful of superficial charm, because the moon on your ascendant could make you very superficial right now, or people perceive you as superficial. So that is highly possible. And of course, the moon in Taurus can also create some scattered energy, so be aware of that. I also do see that actually right now you could be able to see things through like the way they are, without a doubt right now. So whatever you're sensing, it is actually with precision, it is actually as is. So things are clear, some clarity has come right now between the 4th and the 5th. So do you see that? I also do see some sort of a joint project, or maybe you want to join somebody, or maybe somebody wants to join you in some project. And if that is the case, you are able to evaluate this project with some reality right now, and be able to see if this is a good project for me, for us, it's a good endeavor for either of us. So you are able to do that, but be careful, because you may be wanting to please people too much right now, because with moon on your ascendant and Venus on your 7th house, they both want making you to be softer, more easy to work with, more easy to approach, so which can also make you to be over adapting to other people, trying to please everyone to maintain harmony. So you ought to be lacking assertion right now, so just be careful of that. And because of this, you could also make the mass take over, meaning that you avoid to have healthy conflicts, and then the other person just wins even if they're not supposed to win, and therefore you lose you make yourself be at the losing end. So be careful of that superficial thing that is being caused by the moon and the Venus in that opposition on your ascendant and the 7th house. I also do see that the 4th and the 5th create a high dependency because of being over reliant on other people, or letting other people being over reliant on you. So do place some boundaries at the same time, but of course it would be a bit difficult, but you now know, you now are aware of that. So you just need a stronger direction, or somebody to give you a stronger direction at this time. So I also do see that the moon is going to move over into your second house of Gemini from the 6th. So from this period on, from the 6th, what you will be able to have is quite a lot of access, again, overindulgence, continuing with food, having fun, and speaking harmoniously to other people. But now is a good time because it's going to be free from that 7th aspect of Sun and Mars. But because of the 8th aspect of Mars, you may want to change some sort of your habits here. Be careful of overspending, because Mars may cause you to spend too much, or have some changes happening towards your bank, your money. High possibilities of having some expenses here towards having nice food, going out with friends, or pleasing friends. Again, that over pleasing of other people could continue to be some sort of something that you need to look after here. So do come back for more deeper detail. I'll post that video I think tomorrow. Thank you. Ciao.